giving our viewers a little bit of our intro here.
Oh, okay, sure. So hi, live people. We're live too. So yes, I'm Carla with HomeGauge and Carla Heatherly, Dan Connard, and we decided to do this little event to connect with the people who use HomeGauge software, have websites with us, services, all of that, just in order to have conversations. So this isn't very structured. We want to keep it kind of open so that people can ask questions, and it can be about anything really. We do, plan of course on sneaking some tips in there about the things that you should be doing, whether you use HomeGauge or not, and if you have a website, which hopefully you do, and if you don't, you should call us, because this is a great time of year, January, new year, new business. We know that it's a slow time for the industry, and this is actually no better time to build your business online when you have some time and some bandwidth to do so.
Yeah, so one of our biggest things with starting this, we're calling this the Gauge. And one of our, like Carla was saying, one of our biggest things is, we want to get back out there and, show us face to face, with the pandemic and everything that kind of, hindered that a lot. So we're starting this a little bit to get back in there with everybody, and even though this isn't necessarily face to face, but this gives you an opportunity.
Our faces.
This gives you an opportunity to, be real with us, and we're going to be real with you. Ask us questions. I enjoy the colors red, and my favorite food is pizza. So, things like that. But any kind of questions that you guys want to ask about, any of our services, anything that the web team does, any kind of questions based on like SEO, the SEO program, or managed hosting, just any of that really.
If you have strong feelings about certain months, you can also tell us about that. I will tell you that February is, I think, a month that shouldn't exist, and it's my birthday month.
Yeah, it's my birthday month.
The worst. It is Dan's birthday month, and I'm saying this. It is the weirdest time because you're not all fresh January, and then February hits, and you're like, God, it's not winter, and it's not spring, and that's actually the worst.
But it's the month of
what?
Of Valentine's. That's something, right?
That's something, but and at least it's like shortest month.
It is the shortest.
A pretty worthless month. So, even though we were both born in it, so we can say that we're not offending, ourselves. I might be offending Dan.
I like February, but I understand that it can be a difficult month, especially for the industry. So
it's really no better time when it's miserable and slow and cold, and you feel like drained of all will to continue. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, and that could be a little bit dramatic. However, this is really the perfect time of year to kind of jumpstart your business and start thinking about the things that you can be working on, not necessarily like on your website. We're not talking about, logging into your website and doing things, because we actually advise against that. Usually stuff gets broken. But there are so many offsite things that you can do to support your website. And often, as soon as everything starts picking up, especially for inspections, which, March, April, and then it's kind of crazy until September. Like, we know the cycle. We've been doing this for a very long time, and working with inspectors for a very long time. So this is, there's no need to be sad, or there's also no need to go take a bunch of SEO courses and try to do it yourself. We can give you some pretty straight advice, and we are open, and want to hear any questions that you have.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions we get asked on the daily about SEO and different things that people think that they know about SEO, and a lot of myths out there. And everyone on the web team, we're 100% completely honest, and we'll tell you how it is, and if that's a myth, or if that's something that is legit or not. So any kind of questions, we'll definitely tell you what there is to know about it.
Can definitely make a broad statement right now that if someone sends you an email saying that if you give them $100, you will be on page one of Google next week, that is false. And people do forward those messages to us, and they're like, oh, should I do this? And we're just like, no. If it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
Yeah. And just like with Google Ads, like, you can put money all day long into Google Ads, but you better have a big budget for that.
A big budget for that. And I was actually reading an article earlier today that users, so people on the internet, doing searches for things, are so savvy to the paid searches now that they only receive about 2.3% of the clicks.
Yeah.
So people see that it's like an ad that you've paid to, position and work out something to get you up to this point.
Yeah, I personally don't even click on any of the ads.
I go straight past the ads.
I sometimes even go to page 2 to even look for.
Sometimes I go to page 3. Okay, usually I stop at page 2. But, there's going to be paid results the paid results are largely ignored. So, people ask us often, is that somewhere that I should spend money? And we say, no. No, it isn't.
Nope.
What Google is going to value the most is organic search. And what that means is when someone is typing into a browser, like home inspection Asheville, and it's going to be the results that come up from that, and then the people click on those results from that search. So organic traffic is traffic that you're earning because of your is the traffic that you're earning because of how well you've maintained and the work that you've done on your site. You've earned that traffic, and organic traffic is definitely the best.
Looks like we have a question coming.
Oh.
She has a little bit better eyesight than I do right now, so.
I need to renew my SEO and web hosting with HomeGauge. Will I be able to still have HomeGauge do our SEO?
They need to renew.
Oh yeah.
HomeGauge.
If you have a site with us and you're already doing SEO and hosting, then absolutely, we would love to have you continue your SEO with us. If we're understanding the question correctly, because that's what I'm seeing. So,
are you already in our SEO program? I'm sorry, I can't read your business name from here.
This is our first time, and we might need to get a bigger screen.
The phone is kind of far away, but my apologies if I can't read your business name offhand. But if you are in our SEO program now, then yeah, you can definitely still have HomeGauge and still do SEO.
Yeah. This definitely just contact our web team at homegauge.com, or you can give them a call. And I'm afraid I don't know the number off the top of my head. 254-2030?
Yeah,
okay.
Option 2.
Option 2. Okay, so let's see. The next question. So I have a website that doesn't show up easily when I Google it. What can I do to help my site show up in Google earlier? Well, that's a very good question. There are a lot of things that you can do. Honestly, I'm going to tell you, and again, like Dan said earlier, we're going to tell you exactly what it is. But SEO, you have to have SEO on your site, and what that means. So SEO, search engine optimization, helps prep your site for the search engines to crawl it, so that it can begin gaining some traction and showing up in the search results. If you have just launched a site, it can take weeks, several weeks to show up. And in fact, it can take months. It all depends on the other efforts that you're doing outside of, just the SEO that you're doing on your site. So for instance, HomeGauge is doing SEO. If HomeGauge is doing SEO on your website, we're largely doing stuff on the back end of the site that helps the search engine see what your site is about. And we're producing fresh content, which is going to give you more traffic to your site because people are going to want to read it because it's really cool articles. But there's a lot of other things that you can do as well. Thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe millions of websites launch every day. And that's why it takes a hot minute for Google to crawl everything, because they're not only crawling new sites, they're crawling and re-indexing existing sites that are publishing new content. So there's not a quick and easy and fast way to show up on the Goog page 1. There's not an easy answer. It takes a lot of work.
There really isn't an easy answer for that, because there are so many options. One of the biggest things I also tell people, make sure that you're keeping that you have the Google Business profile, right, and that you're keeping it updated.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure your service area on Google Business profile is correctly mapped out. We can totally go into a complete deep dive into everything there is.
This would be a 24-hour seminar.
Yeah.
But the basic foundation of it is SEO, and we tell people all the time. So you guys are going to see us doing the gauge. So you'll know that I love analogies and I use them all the time. But it is like joining a gym. So when people sign up for SEO, sometimes we'll hear from someone 2 days later and they're like, my site's not showing up. And we know it's not going to. It's kind of like you join a gym, you're not going to go twice and be like, oh my gosh, why am I not, ripped? Why am I not in great shape? It takes commitment and it takes time. There's no easy way. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. But it requires commitment, and it's super, super, long-term commitment. You basically have to marry your SEO.
I'm already taken though. I'm taken, so I can't marry me.
I'm also taken.
Marry your SEO.
Right.
Most of my reviews are on Facebook. Do I really need reviews on Google too?
Let me tell you about Google reviews. They're the most important reviews that you can get. So Google obviously is in charge of everything, like it or not, which is why you have to have a Google business profile. Furthermore, the only reviews that really, really matter are on Google. Of course, get reviews on other channels, but the channel that you should care the most about and put your efforts toward are the reviews on Google. So the customers that we work with, inspectors, RV and home inspectors, are small businesses, obviously, service-based businesses. They don't have brick and mortar locations. So they rely on local search to get returned in the search results. So with local search, having a good number of reviews on Google and having quality reviews on Google will give you the traction that you need to gain in the search engine result pages. What that means is that can account for about 20% of your SEO, and it's free. Just getting those Google reviews will help you build the authority with your site so that Google is like, oh, this business is legit. And they have reviews, and they're good.
And I'll just add on to that is yes, getting reviews on Facebook is good. Getting reviews, there's still some people out there that use Yelp.
Who?
I can't, apparently so. Or Redfin. Getting reviews on all those sites is fine and all, but the one that you mostly want to be concentrated on is Google. And you're going to hear us say Google probably 5 billion times because, that's who we got to make happy.
We're married to Google too.
So it's not to say not to get Facebook reviews or anything like that, but you mostly want to be sending your customers to write reviews on your Google profile.
Right. So if you're using some type of app or platform that to ask for reviews from your customers, definitely ask for the Google reviews. Like, of course, you want them reviewing you wherever, right? But if you're making the effort to ask for reviews, which you should, then your effort should be for asking for reviews on Google.
How should I handle a negative Google review?
You should tell them they don't know anything. Don't do that.
Tell them no.
Tell them, okay, no. But we've seen all kinds of reactions from business owners.
We can definitely tell you what not to do as well.
Well, we can tell you what not to do. But the best way to handle a negative review is to take it offline and say, thank you for your feedback. Give our office a call. We don't have any notes about this service. The most important thing to do is to not become negative and combative and retaliate and say, I don't know who you are. Or if you do know who the person is and you also didn't like working for them, and then you come back at them and say, well, you were a terrible person and blah, blah, blah. And we've seen all of this, believe me. In years of doing this, we have seen people respond to negative reviews in a way that we're just like, oh my God, okay, well, you can't do that. So do this instead. So the best thing to do with a negative review is to simply respond. We hear your feedback. We'd like to talk with you more about this. We don't really have records of, we don't have this information in our records and would love to get your feedback, and just take it offline.
Yeah, and I would just keep it short and simple.
Short and sweet.
Because everyone else is going to read they're going to read that negative response. So the first thing I would do is just take a deep breath. Don't completely react to it at first, and just kind of take a step back and just try, be short and simple with it, and don't respond negatively to a negative review is the short answer for that.
Exactly. Another thing about negative reviews is that, it's not terrible if you get one. Like, no one wants a negative review, of course. Everyone wants to be perfect and have, thousands and hundreds of perfect 5-star reviews. But users actually expect to see the occasional negative review. It doesn't necessarily reflect on the business, because there are people out there that are going to only give reviews when they're negative, and the reviews are often going to be negative. So it's not the end of the world if you get a negative review. That person might negatively review most of the people. The most important thing is that the negative review is what we like to say, bury it, with good reviews. So if someone's scrolling through your Google reviews and you have, 45 5 stars and then 1 star, anyone looking through that is like, well, that's a one-off, obviously, So it's not the end of the world. What matters most is how you respond to it, and to do that, with patience, and just keep it, like Dan said, short and sweet. Yeah. Oh, we'd like to hear more about this. We don't have a record of this experience. Please reach out, and leave it at that.
I had a website, for a hostel. It was either a hostel or a bed and breakfast website. Mm-hmm. And the owner of the bed and breakfast would respond to all of the negative reviews, but would never respond to any of the positive reviews. Uh-huh. And she would leave an entire book worth of a negative review or a negative response to the negative review.
Uh-huh.
And,
oh my gosh.
And we're just like, no,
it's crazy.
Don't do that.
It's crazy, yeah. That brings up another thing, though. I'm glad you mentioned that. Also, be sure to respond to positive reviews. Yeah. And you want to respond to every review to show that you're engaged with your business. So if you get, even just a 5-star review, so-and-so is the best inspector in the whole universe, and I love them, and the report was gorgeous, and they're great, and you're amazing. Just respond with, thanks so much for your business. We loved working with you. Leave it at that. Yeah. But respond to it, because that shows that you're paying attention and that you value your customers.
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be that much.
I mean, we can talk about Google reviews forever and tell you all the stories.
Right.
What else?
We have any other questions that you all have right now? While we're waiting for some other questions to come in, just kind of want to go over a little bit more about what we have planned for this little. I'm calling it a show because it pretty much is a show.
It's a show. I wanted to have a little clicky clacky thing, and Dan was like, I think that I haven't sold him on that. So I thought it'd be really fun to be like.
Action.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I think it'd be really fun, and I would like do it, and you don't have to do it.
So we're calling this the Gauge, where Carla and myself will be talking about SEO and all of the different services that the web team offers with HomeGauge, but we also. We'll also bring in members from the software support team and do different tracks.
Yeah.
I guess you're calling it, right?
I was thinking like little tracks, like, yeah, I mean, it's primarily going to be us just asking your questions. Like a lot of times in the web team, we find ourselves kind of being like small business consultants to our web customers because we know so much about, everything after doing this. I mean, I don't think we talked much about our background, but I've been in this industry for so long and for so long, I'm not even gonna say how long, but so long. And, we know how to help people. And, we understand what it's like to be a small business, and we understand, that not everyone has, $10,000 to hire a firm and get, $10,000 a month to hire a firm. And I've worked for those firms before too, where SEO engagements are upwards of $5,000 with 3-year commitments. So, our goal has always been to have affordable and helpful services. And, we thought that this would be a good way to informally kind of have a collaborative. And that we want you to say things to us. So I mean, Dan and I can talk all day.
Back to
seriously.
the whole small business thing too. I was also thinking about just everyone in HomeGauge that has had or currently has like a side business or a small business that they've had. Like I've had my own T-shirt line, clothing line before, and then I've also worked for other small businesses. I've done a lot of different things.
I have my own web company before this.
And
so
then,
I was right there too.
So small businesses definitely is something that I am passionate about, and I'm passionate about helping other small businesses.
And giving tips for free.
And giving tips for free. Home Garden Inspection says, "Thank you for working late to do this."
Oh,
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in to listen to us do this.
Another question is, what's the difference between my site and my domain?
Oh, that's an interesting question. It's a good one. Do you want to answer it, Dan, or should I?
I can answer this one.
Go for it.
Okay, so your domain would be your domain name. So think yourbusiness.com is your domain name. And then your website or your site, that's where all of your information lives on the internet, right? So you could think of your domain name being your web address or your home address, and your website is your home.
Is your house, right. Yeah, so your domain is the street that your site lives on.
So I had a couple people, they're just like, well, I typed in my business name into Google, but I don't see my website. I'm like, well, you still have to type in you need to type in your domain name, or you need to type in your URL. So, mycompany.com. You still need to type that into the search bar. You can't just automatically think that if you type in, I don't know, if you have white I don't know what I'm trying to say. You can't just expect to type in your business name into Google and then automatically go to your website.
Right.
You still have to type. Need to type in your URL, the actual address.
It's like telling GPS go to my house, but not giving them an address.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And I want to say something too about domain names. So we do have a lot of people who don't renew their domain names. So they host sites with us. So they've, we've built a website for them. They have our managed hosting, our SEO, and they get some, but we're not a domain registrar. So we don't register domain names. So these customers that have their sites with us will notice that their site is down because they let their domain name expire. And then they're like, oh God, my site's down. What have you guys done? And we're like, we didn't do anything. Did you not renew your domain name? And they're like, well, no, because you guys have my site. Well, it doesn't mean anything. It's unrelated to your domain name. So if anyone is listening right now, everyone who's listening right now, renew your domain name. And a lot of them, it seems like they come up for renewal November, December, January, because a lot of people might buy a site or start working on building a site, during the slow season for inspections. So it seems like we are always like, 'tis the season when November hits.
And
everyone, a lot of people are letting their sites go down because they haven't renewed their domain name. So definitely renew your domain name. No, regardless of who hosts your site, it is absolutely unrelated to whether or not your domain name is active and you own it.
So what would happen is like if you accidentally let your domain name expire, there are companies that will swoop right up in there and purchase that domain name, and then try to charge the inspector or the previous owner
to buy it back.
And they'll charge anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 or more. And so we have a lot of people that they have to end up going with, like, instead, if they had yourbusinessname.com, they have to then end up changing to yourbusinessname.org or .co,
or just a different name altogether.
And then you have to and then you got to change your business cards, and then you got to change. You just got to let all of your other past customers know, and all the agents know. I actually listened to a podcast yesterday going home. Who this guy, he built websites for churches, and the church had let their domain name expire.
Oh no.
And
can't be good.
An X-rated adults site bought that domain name right up.
And they kept it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
it's terrible. It's a terrible thing.
So don't let your company.
Do not let your domain name expire.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like there's another question.
Okay. My site.
Oh, you can read it.
I can read that. Yeah.
Okay.
My site is 4 years old. I get compliments all the time that clients love it. When would you recommend I update my site?
Now is a good time. Seriously.
4 years old.
Yeah. Okay. So websites, they look kind of like age like dogs. So like in website years, like 4 years old is really like 50.
But my dog's about to turn 4.
I know. Well, my dog is 4. Okay, sorry. We'll not use. Okay, let me. If I could rewind.
I just destroyed your analogy.
Oh, come on, Dan. Okay, so I'm gonna rewind myself. If you guys could mind erase that. We do recommend that people build a new site at least every 3 years, and the reason for doing this is that. Number one is we're always going to say Google. Like most everything that we recommend that you do is because it's going to help you with Google. So you want a new site every 3 years, mainly because browser technology changes, user experience changes, the guts of your site, WordPress and all of that. The guts of your site need to be replaced every few years. And, right out of the box, a WordPress site, which is what we build our sites on, are going to be better for SEO. But, sometimes we have people who have sites with us that are like, well, can't you just refresh it? And it's like, oh, by the time that we do that, at X amount per hour, you could honestly just buy a new site. So we do recommend, based on, content, best design practices, technology guidelines, stuff like that, that you get a new site every few years. It's really for the best. It's going to benefit you long term.
Yeah, I mean, there's several members on the web team that we're subscribed to the different newsletters that come out about different news of Google changing their standards.
They do it all the time.
And just the internet in general, of course, is always changing, always evolving. So I mean, I listen to podcasts nonstop and have different newsletters that come directly to me that I read weekly. So things are always changing, and so that's why we recommend changing and having your site built every 3 years. Next question is, if I do both home inspections and commercial inspections, how can I have more than one focus I'm guessing this is phrase
or keyword.
How can I have more than one focus phrase for SEO rankings?
Well, that is so HomeGuard inspections. Hi, HomeGuard.
Yep.
That's a little tricky. Normally, we would recommend that you have a site for your commercial inspections and a site for your home inspections. That is, the easiest way to do it, because ideally because then you'd be ranking one site. You'd be focusing, putting all of your keyword eggs in the home inspection basket on one site, and then all of your keyword eggs in the commercial inspection basket on the commercial site. If you don't have that, or if that's not in your budget or not something that you're able to do, having a separate page built out for commercial inspections is going to be the best way to go. And then if you're working with someone with SEO, you could ask them to keyword your commercial page for commercial inspections. The way that SEO works technically, there's stuff that we do on the back end, and I think on the home page you would be able to, depending on the title, or there's title tags in the back end, is this complicated stuff, and it's kind of boring, but it all has to be done for SEO. So we would take a look at the area that you're trying to rank in, the service area, the most important service area, and then also see if we can adjust the titles on the back end to be home and commercial inspections, or home and commercial inspector if it's the about page. And then, but having that dedicated page, and then, if we're writing blogs for you, we could occasionally toss in something there for commercial inspections. I think that that's going to be the easiest way if you're trying to have a website for both and gain some traction in both of those arenas for home and commercial buildings.
Yeah, having additional blog posts to feature the commercial part of the business would definitely be a benefit, because we'll do, if an inspector really wants to showcase that they do pest inspections, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a main focus point of their business. We'll do blogs that kind of focus on that inspection,
Yeah.
And then if it's something where, if it's something where you're doing a good 50% home inspections and a good 50% commercial inspections, then you probably would want that separate page for commercial.
And it doesn't have to be a full. So we offer. So HomeGauge in particular offers, the custom website build. We also have an essential build, which is kind of a more basic build. And then we have the web starter, which is a single page website. So that might actually be a good solution. And I think that we recently have built something for someone who has a custom site with us, but also wanted to focus on radon inspections. Mm-hmm. And so we've done just a single page just for radon, but it's on its own domain. It's $39 a month. period. Like there's not an upfront fee for it. So that's a really good for ancillary services if you're trying to really get some momentum with those, whether it's like sewer scope or radon or commercial inspections. It might be that, you know, the web starter or the essential build is a good, is a good solution for something like that.
Yeah, that was a great question. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Good question.
All right.
Oh man, it's already 6:37.
It's already 6:37.
You guys are chatty, making us talk a lot.
What is today? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
Wednesday. All right. Well, we got some fire emojis coming in here.
Does that mean we're on fire?
We're on fire.
Okay.
Well, look at that, fire and hearts.
Oh, and the fire love. Thanks, guys.
Well, cool.
Cool.
I think that was that was great. Some great questions there. If you guys have any other questions, we'll answer probably one or two more before we head on out of here. They'll probably kick me out of the building eventually here. So.
I mean, yeah, that's probably gonna happen. While we're waiting for a question, I will say too that like I really appreciate you guys showing up and asking great questions. We do eventually hope to have, this is kind of our first little time doing this, little setup, but so we wanted to keep it loose, and we're still going to keep it like that. We want it to be conversational and for you guys to chime in with questions and stuff, but we are going to have a little more focus on some things that are important as we move forward, things we want to make sure that you guys know about. So while we're always planning on answering your questions, we'll certainly also be, we want this to be informative for you guys as well, and to be giving you information that's going to help you grow your business.
And Instagram Live, I'm sure with the other ones too, but Instagram Live allows us to invite other inspectors onto the show as well. So, so in the future, as we do this and go along, we would like to invite other inspectors to have different kind of chats with as well. So if you are one of those inspectors that would like to be on the show, let us know. Yeah,
do that. We'd love to have like special guests, and if Dan lets me have that little clicky clacky thing, that would be super fun. Oh, okay. Let's see, another question. Do you only do SEO on websites you build? Yes. We're happy to do SEO on any sites that we build. We don't host sites that we don't build because, we have specific ways that we want things done. We need to make sure the code isn't a hot mess. And when we used to host sites we didn't build, we regretted it. So we stopped doing that because that was terrible.
Because they're built with sticks and mud.
They're built with sticks and mud. That's what we always say. You poke them enough and they'll collapse. And then someone's mad and you're like, oh, your site was garbage. So, so yes, we would.
It's the truth. It's the truth though.
It is the truth. It's the truth.
Do landing pages or pages which are not in menu still index and help SEO? Do landing pages or pages which are not in the menu, are they still indexed, and do they help SEO? So the pages are not in the menu. They're not in the main menu. Mm-mm. Are they still indexed, and do they still help with SEO?
Well, it depends on whether is it like a no index, no follow, or whatever.
Right. So you can make it so a page is a no follow, which means that Google won't index it. Google won't follow it or list it. But
I mean, I'm always going to recommend that you have pages published on your site that visitors can find.
Because so if you have if you have a page that say you have a page, maybe we'll call it a radon page, okay? If you had a radon page, and if it is indexed with Google, but it's not on your website, customers are still going to be able to see that page.
And it's going to be confusing.
And they're going to be like, well, why isn't it listed anywhere on the website?
It's like ghosty page.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
I mean, we would not recommend doing that. If you're going to have a page that you want indexed and listed on Google to help with SEO, you need to have it listed in your menu and list it on your website in some way, shape, or form. Well, and it doesn't have to be in your menu necessarily. It can be, it could be a hot link located from within your website.
But you want it if it's content that you want, if you have published content, you want it to be navigable. Like you want people to be able to find it. So hopefully it's a resource. And sometimes like hidden pages can be just a little bit sketch.
Yeah, it just seems a little shady.
A little sketch, a little shady.
So I hope that answers your question on that. But that's another great question there. Thank you.
But just to like wrap that up tidy and in a positive way, any content that you're adding to your site that's original is going to help you with search engine optimization. So if you're providing valuable content and it serves a purpose for the user, that's the most important thing for Google. So, if you have pages, you want them to be there and you want them to be indexed and you want them to, because they will help you.
Cool. Well.
Cool.
Cool. Well.
6:44. How long do we go for, Dan?
Well, you said that we would go for 35, 45 minutes, and then we're about 45-minute mark, right?
We also said that we had to stop ourselves because we can nerd out and talk about this stuff all day.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that. But if I had that the clicky clack,
you'd say,
I could be like, done. Is that what they say?
I think they say cut.
Oh, okay.
It's action,
right?
And then cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Then I could do that. It'd be very dramatic.
Maybe we'll have one for the next
to
show.
Start it and to finish. I just think it would be so delightful to do that. I would really like that power.
You just want to.
I do. I want the clicky clacky.
Okay, so this is our first show. Thank you so much, for coming out and tuning in.
Great questions.
We hope to generate some buzz about this show. So
tell all your friends.
Tell all your friends to like and I'd say like, subscribe, but basically like our Instagram. It's a HomeGauge Web Services on Instagram. This is the best one to do it from. We do have a TikTok if anyone's on TikTok.
We have a TikTok and it is hot.
We're HomeGauge Web Services on TikTok as well. We just can't go live on TikTok until we have 1,000 followers.
Help us get there, people.
So once we do that, we'll probably go live on TikTok as well. But for now, we're just going to go live on Instagram. Keep it simple. And have fun with it. And
Awesome.
Sweet.
All right. Nice work. Thanks, everyone.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.